Hello and welcome to .NET Conference. We are here to talk to you about Azure Code Optimizations, aka Application Insights Code Optimizations, and to show you how you can improve the performance of your .NET application with this capability. My name is Jan Kallis.
I'm Ryan Kong.
And we are product managers for Code Optimizations. So we have broken the agenda for today into 3 sections. In the first section, we'd like to talk to you about what is code optimizations, how it fits into your overall development cycle, and how it helps you remediate performance issues in .NET applications. And of course, we'll do many demos. This would be the first one.
The portion that I'll be covering is the second part. So this is doing a deeper dive into code optimizations and helping you understand how you can enable it and get it set up on your machine and with your applications. And then the second demo, I'm just going to go more in depth with each of those steps and walk you through each of the prerequisites.
Great. And in the third and last section, we'll talk about code optimization extension for VS Code that will help you generate the right code fix for that specific performance issue. So when we talk about development lifecycle or development cycle, this is a simplified chart that shows the workflow from planning to development, of course, running through all the compliance in your CI/CD pipeline, through delivering and continuous improvement in operations, and then again closing the loop based on the customer feedback and some issues that you may potentially find in your production environment.
Yeah, so where code optimizations brings a lot of value is it connects the two parts of the operations and actual development. And so what this would look like on your teams is if you have an operations team, closing loop between them and you, the actual developers. And so the insights that code optimizations is generating, those are pushed to your operations team. And then we will show you in our demo, but there's a very easy way for the operations people to then send those insights over to the developers so that you can make the actual code changes.
So Code Optimizations, it is an AI-based service that analyzes your .NET applications in Azure during runtime and offers proactive recommendations on how to optimize your applications. Now, I mentioned it is an AI-based model. So we call that model Code Optimizations. And that model has 2 outputs. The first output is for operations that we'll show you now. And then the second output is for developers, where it actually helps you fix actual code. And that's the part that we'll get into in the third portion of this session. So many times we are asked by customers, how have you built the model? What did you train the model on? And we are very pleased to share that this model was built and it codifies the learnings that we as Microsoft have from running high-scale cloud applications. The software as a services like M365, Microsoft 365, that many of you and your companies might be using. So we've made learnings based on what our developers seen and how we have addressed these performance issues. And this is exactly what was codified into the AI-based model. Now, the way how it works, it uses the application insights profiler traces. So it literally analyzes these traces. It detects memory and CPU usage performance issues. And then it compares it with, as we call it, engineering best practices, which is exactly the best practice that we have seen that comes back from the AI-based model. Now, I think this would be perfect time for a demo. How about that? So I'll dive right into it. And now we are in Azure Portal. We are looking at an application insights resource that can receive data from one or multiple applications. Now, code optimizations, once enabled through Azure Profiler, and Ryan will talk about that in a minute, is associated with App Insights resource. So it's a resource within App Insights resource. How do you quickly discover? There are two options. You can click on Azure Copilot anywhere in the portal and ask the Copilot a question about, well, hey, what's my code is slow. Can you help me? And the Copilot will try to find the right resource, application insights resource based on the current application that you're standing on, or based on the App Insights resource. If it won't be able to find that association, shows you a prompt, and you can go very quickly into the top recommendation, or you can review them all. Now, if your organization is not using Azure Copilot, you can, of course, navigate into the Performance tab here in Azure Portal in Application Insights. So I'll go to Performance, and here you already see Code Optimization tab. So I'll click that button, and here are all my recommendations for this application. So what this page shows you, it shows you a quick overview. It has links to documentation. We've also recorded a number of use cases that might be interesting thing to review. And we are showing you all the recommendations that span certain time windows. So you can always change it to longer if you want to troubleshoot something that happened during the weekend, or that happened during some peak load of your application. You can filter which application do you want to see recommendations for. Remember, I mentioned that App Insights can receive information about multiple applications. And if you want to see only memory or CPU or memory type of recommendations. Now, in this case, we are seeing both memory and CPU. We give you a very quick overview of each recommendation. So each line in this page means one recommendation. And you can see the description of the issue. You can see which parent method calls that calls it. And you see how many times during the selected time period this recommendation was generated. And of course, you saw when I accidentally clicked on the method that by default, this list is sorted by impact. That is, in this case, for memory, it's the percentage of memory allocation during the profiler trace that was taken. What was the percent of allocation of memory to this specific function? Now, you can always click the function to see more details. So there's description like, hey, the string.substring is causing lots of allocations, and 86% of your memory was spent in this specific function called from this parent, and we expect that this value should be less than 1%. Okay, so the less than 1%, the 1% comes from the engineering best practices that's supported by our AI model. The 86% in this case could be observed in the trend impact chart that will reflect the same time frame that you selected here. So remember, this 86% is the highest impact, the highest number that was captured maybe yesterday or a couple of days ago. And you can see some valleys and peaks, and maybe this is related to some slower traffic on the weekend. So you can really see how these recommendations evolve over time based on traffic, for example. And we also give you a recommendation. So please use string.span instead of substring. Okay, that should be straightforward, right? We also give you a call stack, so you can very clearly see which function is the parent function calling your substring function. You can copy the call stack, you can copy the details of this these insights and send them via email. No, I'm kidding, of course. But you can do that. You can copy details and paste them into an email, but you can also create a formal workflow through either Azure DevOps or GitHub. In this case, I'll choose GitHub. I'll just select the repo that is most suitable for this. In this case, it's a repo that has a source code for this application, and I'll hit create work item. What happens is that we automatically create the issue and capturing all the details in this issue, so that then we can pick it up in our last demo from Visual Studio Code, and through GitHub Copilot, we can see a fix that will be proposed how to address this issue. But that would be the last demo, so stay on. There's one more thing that we wanted to show you. You've probably noticed this feedback button. So feedback is super important to us. And this feedback button is great for providing feedback about specific recommendations. If you love a recommendation, or if you see some places for improvement, please tell us. And you also see that you can complete a short survey and potentially be part of a paid user study while this banner is on. So what we've seen in this demo, we've looked at how you can discover code optimizations, how the code optimizations page looks like, and how you can go deeper into specific recommendations and start the official workflow with your engineering with developers. Over to you, Ryan.
Perfect. Thanks, Jan. So now that Jan showed you everything that code optimizations can do for you, I'm sure you're wondering, how do I get this now set up? So there are 3 prerequisites that you need to be covering, which I will actually talk about more in depth in the demo. I'll walk you through each of these steps. And then the next portion here, we can show you the different platforms that are supported currently. So there are 3 columns. The first column shows you the specific compute platform. Second column shows you for .NET, which of those are supported. And then the third one is for .NET Core. And for today's demo, we're going to be showing you the Azure App Service in .NET. And then at the very bottom, there's a link for documentation where it covers all the same content that we'll be covering today. So on to our next demo. Let me share my screen. So we're going to be starting from your web app in App Service. And so the first prerequisite, first thing that you want to make sure is that you have an App Insights resource and that it is connected to this web app. So what you can do is down here under Settings, click Application Insights, and check to see that this is toggled on or enabled. So this indicates that you do indeed have an Application Insights resource. And then down here, you can see your app is connected to Application Insights resource, and then it gives you the name. This tells you that it is connected. The next part that you want to check is if you do have your profiler, the App Insights profiler enabled. So you can scroll down. For here, we're doing .NET, and then you can check the toggle on and off for a profiler as well. And so now that we've checked to see that you both have your App Insights resource enabled and connected, and your profiler is enabled as well, you want to make sure that the profiler is actually collecting traces. So you can click the link here to go to the App Insights resource that's connected, navigate over to the performance blade. And as Jan showed you, this is where Code Optimizations is. Just to the right of it is the App Insights profiler. So you want to click into here, and this shows the recent profiling sessions. So now you can see there are multiple rows. Each of these are a different profiler trace, and they're being triggered by default sampling, which is done on our end, just random sampling throughout the day. And so this shows you that, yes, you're collecting profiles, and we should be analyzing these in code optimizations for you. So navigating back to the performance blade, you want to now check code optimizations and see if you are getting insights. And so as you can see, these are the 3 insights that we've been gathering for you based off of your profiler traces in the last 24 hours. So that is everything that you need to get code optimizations enabled for your application for your web app.
Great demo, Ryan. Thank you so much. It really seems straightforward. And many of you may have already code optimizations turned on. So if that's the case, ask either Azure Copilot or go into the Application Insights Performance blade to discover more. Now, in the last section of the session, we wanted to show you the integration of code optimizations into VS Code. So we mentioned that the AI model that we've built was trained on internal cloud scale applications, but also the code fixes that the model provides were curated by .NET architects in Microsoft to make sure that these type of code fixes really address the specific performance issue. And that's why we can help you accelerate the time to remediation to those performance issues that were identified by App Insights code optimizations right in VS Code. We've announced limited preview in November 15th, 2023. If you want to learn more or sign up, please follow the URL down below. In the third and last demo, we'll seamlessly connect to the first one, where the operations team in Azure Portal were capturing code optimization performance recommendations as GitHub issues. And as these flow through the company workflow, at some point they'll get to us as developers to address them on a code level. And that is exactly why we are going into VS Code. So in VS Code, you see that we already installed the code optimizations extension that enhances the skills of GitHub Copilot Chat. Without any further ado, let's start chatting. There are commands that you likely know very well from the GitHub Copilot, such as fix and explain. And you might be noticing that there are 2 new ones, issues and optimize. And these 2 are related to code optimizations. So for example, if I want to see all the latest or the latest issue that is related to performance code optimizations, I can use the issues command. And you see that this is one of the issues that operations team captured and sent us, the engineering team, for further review and to fix them on the code level. Now, what you might be noticing here, what we haven't had in the Azure portal, is the Generate Fix button. So once I press the Generate Fix button, you see 2 things are happening. The one thing is on the right-hand side, VS Code opened the file with the code and highlighted the function that I need to work on. And second, it brought up a code suggestion. Now, when I can, of course, show the difference. I can work on implementing this recommendation. I can integrate this to my code. I can create PR, check it in, and off we go, sending it to the CI/CD pipeline. We'll stop the demo at this point. But what we wanted to demonstrate here, it's very easy to review code changes that are proposed by the code optimizations in VS Code and accelerate time to remediating performance issues in your code. Let's wrap up. So what we talked about is what is code optimizations, how to enable it. And in this last demo, you've seen the VS Code extension. Now, if you're interested about learning more about the entire development cycle that we've talked about at the beginning, how AI can help you at every step of the journey, I highly recommend, or we highly recommend, to look at the session from the 2023 Ignite that was done by Amanda Silver. She walked you through this entire cycle, and there is a lot of great demos as well. And Ryan, you have a couple of resources here for us.
Yeah, this is for anybody that wants to revisit this information in greater detail. So we have documentation, troubleshooting, and then specific docs for the VS Code extension as well. And then, yeah, for the next steps, it's pretty simple, as Jan explained. You might even be gathering insights in code optimizations right now. So, using the information that we gave you, you can go visit code optimizations yourself. If you're not gathering insights, then you can follow the instructions that we gave in our second demo to get that enabled for you. And then finally, like Jan was saying, we love getting feedback. To us, that's like precious gold. And so using that in-product feedback button, we'd love to hear from you and hear about like any good or bad experiences that you're having with the tool. Because in the end, we just want to create a perfect experience for our developers. So thank you.
Thank you, of course. Download .NET 8. I'm sure you already have it. Thank you so much for watching. That was all from us. Bye.